You thought Easter was just bunnies, baskets, and brunch? Think again. From ghost eggs to chocolate-based prophecies, America's strangest Easter superstitions are here to blow your pastel-colored mind. Let's get weird. 1. Some Americans believe that wearing new clothes on Easter brings good luck for the rest of the year. This superstition was so strong in the 1800s that people would save all winter just to afford one fresh outfit. Basically, if you weren't strutting your stuff in something new, bad luck might follow you like a jealous ex. 2. In parts of the South, it's believed that if it rains on Good Friday, the next 7 Fridays will also be rainy. Farmers used to treat this as a serious forecast, adjusting their planting schedules just in case. It's basically the original extended weather report, brought to you by folklore, not meteorologists. 3. Some folks think cracking an egg on Easter morning and finding 2 yolks means a wedding is on the horizon. But if you find no yolk at all, it's said to be a sign of death, or at least a very disappointing omelet. Either way, Easter breakfast just got weirdly stressful. 4. There's a belief in rural Pennsylvania that planting crops on Easter Sunday blesses them with extra strength. Locals say the soil's closer to heaven that day, whatever that means. So if your tomatoes are slacking, maybe they just need divine scheduling. 5. One weird myth says rabbits lay eggs, thanks to 1700s German immigrants who brought over the Osterhase, a magical egg-laying hare. Americans naturally ran with it and created the Easter Bunny. Honestly, we're one glitter explosion away from a Pixar origin story. 6. In parts of Appalachia, it's believed that water turns to wine at midnight on Holy Saturday. People used to gather quietly by rivers, hoping for a sacred sip. Spoiler, it's still H2O, but hey, nothing wrong with dreaming of a biblical happy hour. 7. Some older traditions say that if you die on Easter Sunday, you skip the whole judgment line and go straight to heaven. Like an express lane for the faithful. Bit dark for a holiday about resurrection, but oddly comforting if you're into spiritual loopholes. 8. Ever heard of the sun dancing on Easter? Some Americans wake up early to watch the sunrise, believing it literally bounces with joy. If you stare long enough, you might catch it, right after the eye floaters kick in. 9. In parts of the Midwest, people used to bury eggs on Good Friday and dig them up on Easter, believing they'd absorb healing powers. Kinda like nature's version of charging your crystals. Except it's breakfast food and dirt. 10. Some believe putting a raw egg under your bed on Easter Eve will absorb evil spirits overnight. If it's cracked by morning, congratulations, it worked. If it's still whole, either the spirits weren't interested, or you've just added egg under pillow to your list of poor life choices. Either way, don't forget to clean it up. 11. There's a superstition that washing your face with Easter morning dew will make you more attractive. In the 1800s, some women even collected the dew in jars to preserve the beauty magic. So if you spot someone rubbing their face on wet grass at sunrise, don't worry, they're just chasing that glow up from God. 12. In some coastal towns, fishermen believe skipping Easter Sunday service will curse their entire fishing season. Even atheists have been spotted in pews once a year, just in case Poseidon and Jesus are comparing notes. Turns out, when your livelihood depends on the ocean, you cover all your spiritual bases. 13. A lesser-known belief claims making your bed on Easter Sunday invites bad luck into your home. Some housewives refuse to smooth a single sheet that morning, even if guests were coming. So next time your bedroom looks like a tornado hit it, just say you're respecting tradition. Works like a charm. 14. Some Eastern European American families boil eggs with onion skins, creating stunning marbled patterns believed to ward off evil spirits. The eggs look like little works of art, and if you mess them up, Grandma might say you've just cursed the whole household. No pressure, just generations of spiritual aesthetics. 15. According to Southern folklore, if you hear thunder on Easter Sunday, it means someone important will die that year. Churchgoers used to go silent during storms, listening for divine omens between claps of thunder. So much for a peaceful resurrection. Looks like even the clouds had drama to share. 16. In some families, it's believed that if you see a lamb before anything else on Easter morning, it brings wealth. That led to some hilarious scenarios, like kids rushing outside with printed lamb photos just to beat the system. Who needs Wall Street when you've got livestock-based luck? 17. Ever heard the phrase, "Don't eat the ears first"? Some believe biting the ears off a chocolate bunny first brings bad luck. Head first, you're in the clear. But those who start with the tail? Wild cards. Honestly, it's a miracle anyone gets through Easter without a full-on moral crisis over candy. 18. In certain New England communities, it was once thought that hiding a silver coin inside an Easter egg would ensure prosperity. Problem was, kids weren't exactly gentle when cracking them open. Let's just say a chipped tooth became part of the tradition too. 19. One bizarre superstition says you shouldn't give eggs to anyone outside the family on Easter, or you'll give away your luck. Some folks even snatched eggs back from neighbors once they remembered. That's right, Easter kindness, but with a side of paranoia. 20. In some households, folks believed that the first person to eat an Easter egg would dominate the family in arguments all year. Siblings used to race for the fridge like it was Black Friday. Forget diplomacy. Yoke power decides who wins the thermostat war. 21. There's a belief in some Midwestern farming towns that chicks hatched on Easter are chosen and must never be eaten. One kid reportedly kept his Easter chick as a pet for 14 years. Imagine explaining that bond to a visiting friend. No, you can't pet him. He's spiritually protected. 22. Some say if you trip on Easter morning, it's a sign the devil is trying to steal your joy. So if you stub your toe or fall down the stairs, don't blame clumsiness. Just declare spiritual warfare and demand brunch anyway. 23. According to a Cajun legend, if you dye Easter eggs at night, mischievous spirits might steal the color while they dry. That's why some families only color eggs by daylight, with grandma standing guard like a folklore bouncer. 24. There's an old Appalachian belief that eating eggs on Easter cleanses you from sins committed the previous week. The result? Some people treat Easter breakfast like a mini confessional. 3 eggs for swearing, 2 for gossip, and 1 for that extra glass of wine. 25. In the Ozarks, people used to float dyed eggs in a bowl of water and read the egg patterns like tea leaves. Swirls meant travel. Cracks hinted at betrayal. Basically, Easter meets fortune-telling, with a side of salmonella risk. 26. Some say you should never break an Easter eggshell completely. Leave a piece intact, or evil spirits might enter through the open gate. Sounds strange until you remember. Even demons apparently hate fully closed containers. 27. One superstition says you should walk barefoot in the grass on Easter morning to release winter's bad luck from your body. It's poetic, until you step on a bee and spend the holiday explaining why your toe is 3 times its normal size. 28. In Pennsylvania Dutch tradition, it was believed that the first girl to spot a robin on Easter would be the next to marry. Cue dozens of teenage girls scanning the skies like it was the rom-com Hunger Games. 29. Some believe that whatever you dream the night before Easter will come true within the year. Suddenly, that weird dream about marrying a waffle or flying to work on a raccoon becomes a potential prophecy. Sleep responsibly, folks. 30. There's a belief that if you count the number of Easter eggs you find out loud, you'll lose one. Silent hunting became the golden rule, especially among competitive cousins who guarded their egg stash like it was Fort Knox. 31. Some say that if a dog howls on Easter morning, it's warning of bad news coming. Back in the day, folks would literally bribe their pups with bacon to keep them quiet. Imagine explaining to your neighbor, "No, I'm not spoiling him. I'm silencing the apocalypse." 32. In parts of Kentucky, there's a belief that eggs laid on Easter are extra fertile, like spiritually potent. Farmers would save them for breeding prize hens or, oddly enough, luck charms. One guy swore he carried an Easter egg in his pocket to every poker game. Spoiler, he lost often. 33. If your shadow disappears while hunting eggs, like during a sudden cloud cover, it's said to mean someone's keeping a secret from you. Basically, the Easter Bunny might also be your neighborhood gossip oracle. 34. Some households believed you shouldn't speak until you'd eaten your first bite of Easter breakfast. Otherwise, you'd have loose lips all year. Try that with a modern family and see how long silence lasts before someone breaks it asking, "Are these eggs vegan?" 35. There's an old legend that the Virgin Mary painted eggs with her tears while grieving at the cross. That's why red Easter eggs became a thing in some Orthodox American homes. Heavy stuff. Your egg salad just got spiritual. 36. Ever heard of spinning for luck? In some German-American communities, kids spin hard-boiled eggs like tops, and the last one standing upright is said to bring good fortune. One family even turned it into a gambling event. Let's just say Grandma wasn't thrilled. 37. Some people claim that if your Easter chocolate melts before you eat it, someone is secretly jealous of you. Suddenly, melted bunnies become less about poor storage and more about spiritual sabotage. 38. According to some, if it snows on Easter Sunday, it means a family member will fall ill before summer. In Wisconsin, where snow in April is common, that's less superstition and more a guaranteed yearly guilt trip. 39. One old Southern tale claims that a rooster will crow exactly at sunrise on Easter, no matter the weather. Farmers used to bet on it. The catch? Some had to get creative and gently encourage their roosters with a stick. 40. Some believe that baking bread on Easter Sunday makes it last longer and never mold. It's like divine preservatives. Of course, this mostly applied before refrigeration, but hey, blessed carbs are still blessed carbs. 41. In old Irish-American households, some believe that bees could carry Easter prayers up to heaven if whispered to at sunrise. So yes, if you see someone talking to their beehive at dawn, don't panic. They're just outsourcing their spiritual communication. 42. Some say that if you eat meat before noon on Easter, your crops will fail. Farmers took this so seriously that entire towns went vegetarian until lunchtime. Somewhere, a cow is still saying thank you. 43. In early colonial America, some Puritan settlers believed Easter was pagan fluff and refused to celebrate it. Meanwhile, their neighbors dyed eggs, threw parties, and probably whispered, "Buzzkill," behind closed doors. 44. There's a strange belief in some mountain communities that if you laugh during church on Easter, you'll wake the spirits. That turned some sermons into awkward, poker-faced endurance tests. Imagine trying not to chuckle while a baby yells, "Amen," mid-sneeze. 45. If a bird flies into your house on Easter morning, it's considered a message from the dead, or less dramatically, a reminder to close your windows. Either way, it's unsettling when your eggs start flying before you even crack them. 46. In some New Orleans neighborhoods, it's believed that the Easter Bunny skips houses with messy front yards. Kids started tidying lawns before Easter, like little suburban ninjas. Turns out, nothing motivates spring cleaning like the threat of withheld chocolate. 47. A rare belief says if you dream of ducks on Easter Eve, you'll be surrounded by gossip in the coming months. It's oddly specific. What if it's geese? More intense rumors. Either way, sleep with one eye open and maybe avoid the bird pond before bed. 48. Some older Midwestern grandmas used to whisper wishes into marshmallow peeps before eating them, believing they'd carry the message to heaven. That's right, sugar birds as messengers of the divine. No word on whether stale peeps still get reception. 49. If you spill salt during Easter brunch, it's said you must throw some over your shoulder immediately or risk inviting betrayal into your life. Bonus superstition. If it lands on your cousin, they owe you money. Okay, maybe I made that part up. But it sounds fair. 50. There's an old miner superstition that finding a black jelly bean first in your candy mix means bad luck underground. So yes, even candy became part of occupational hazard management. Imagine sorting your Easter basket like it's a bomb squad checklist. 51. Some say if your Easter candle blows out on its own, a spirit is nearby. And not the fun kind. That's why some families surround the candle with books or dishes, basically a holy windbreak, because nothing says peaceful resurrection like fearing a ghostly draft. 52. In parts of Texas, folks believed putting a silver spoon in your Easter basket would bring financial luck. Banks? Investments? Nah, just hide cutlery in your jelly beans and hope for divine dividends. 53. One Appalachian belief says that if a child born near Easter Sunday cries non-stop, They might be spirit-touched. Some even thought they had healing abilities, though most parents probably just wanted a nap and a break from the screaming. 54. If your dyed Easter eggs come out speckled unintentionally, some believe it's a sign someone is lying to you. That turned kitchen egg dyeing into CSI, Family Edition, with accusations flying faster than the vinegar fumes. 55. There's a superstition that wearing red on Easter makes you more likely to attract conflict in the weeks that follow. Some families banned it entirely from Sunday outfits. So if you wore red and everyone glared at you, it wasn't the fashion, they just didn't want drama. 56. In certain Native American Christian blended communities, sunrise ceremonies are held on Easter to welcome not just the risen Christ, but ancestral spirits too. It's a peaceful fusion of traditions: smoke, silence, and the slow glow of dawn. Sacred and beautifully quiet. 57. Some say if a mirror cracks on Easter Sunday, someone in the household will face 7 trials in the year ahead. That's why antique mirrors mysteriously vanish from walls the night before. No one wants 7 trials before coffee. 58. In Louisiana voodoo-influenced folklore, burying an egg at a crossroads on Easter was believed to bring prophetic dreams, but only if you did it barefoot and didn't look back. Creepy? Definitely. Effective? Only if you also had tetanus shots. 59. Some believe that sneezing 3 times in a row on Easter morning means you'll fall in love by summer. So allergy season suddenly became matchmaking season. Imagine your crush walking by while you're mid-sneeze fit, fate or pollen. 60. There's a small-town myth that if you spot a butterfly on Easter Sunday, it's a sign your prayers were heard. No butterfly? Better pray louder. Or buy more flowers next year. Maybe they're just picky about location. 61. Some say if you gift someone a cracked Easter egg, you're wishing bad luck on them. That's why moms used to inspect eggs like secret agents before putting them in baskets. And if one showed up with a fracture, into the deviled pile it went, literally and symbolically. 62. In parts of rural Georgia, kids were warned not to step on eggshells after Easter, or it would wake the devil. So cleanup turned into a stealth operation, with siblings whispering, "Don't crunch," like it was a high-stakes hostage situation. 63. There's a superstition that if your chocolate bunny has a hollow head, someone is hiding something from you. Solid bunnies mean honesty, apparently. Candy as a lie detector? Only in America. And suddenly, biting into chocolate becomes a trust exercise. 64. Some believe that leaving a dyed egg on a windowsill overnight will reveal your future based on how it changes color. Problem is, by morning, it usually just looks sad and sweaty. Still, people swear by their eggs of destiny. 65. According to an Ozark myth, if your shadow falls across someone else's Easter egg before they pick it up, it transfers your sins to them. That made egg hunts into shadow-dodging psychological thrillers. Hey, you just cursed me! Oops. My bad. 66. Some Midwestern parents tell kids that breaking an egg before church on Easter is a bad omen. And some take it so far, they won't serve eggs until after the service. Holy yoke delay, Batman. Better eat toast and pray that omelet can wait until after the Amen. 67. There's a legend that a wish made while the church bells ring on Easter morning will come true. Only if you're holding an egg. So yeah, if you see someone clutching an egg during a hymn, they're not crazy. They're wish optimizing. 68. In some folk beliefs, wearing yellow on Easter helps you attract blessings and repel envy. One southern aunt reportedly forced her entire family into matching yellow outfits every year to keep the haters out. It worked. No one dared compete with that kind of energy. 69. Some say if you peel an Easter egg perfectly, no cracks, just a smooth glide, you're destined for a drama-free year. One uncle became famous in his family for flawless peels and was considered the egg whisperer. Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear yolk. 70. A strange Appalachian belief claims that if you eat an Easter egg that was touched by a crow, you'll dream of your future spouse. Sounds romantic until you realize you're placing your love life in the claws of a garbage bird. 71. Some people believe you should never throw away Easter grass from baskets. It's considered bad luck to discard abundance. Hoarders, rejoice. That green plastic tangle finally has spiritual justification. And honestly, it always turns up months later anyway, usually stuck in the vacuum. 72. If you eat your Easter candy in silence, it's believed your secret wishes will travel to heaven undetected. So next time you're silently chewing a marshmallow chick, just know you're participating in stealthy sugar-powered manifestation. 73. According to one native-influenced legend, rabbits were once messengers between the spirit world and ours. So on Easter, they're not just candy couriers, they're cosmic couriers too, which makes it awkward when you find one in a costume at the mall throwing up peace signs. 74. In some towns, people believe you must finish your Easter basket by sundown, or risk emotional, unfinished business haunting you through the year. Cue speed eating jelly beans like your peace of mind depends on it, because apparently it does. 75. There's a belief that if you paint an egg with your non-dominant hand, it reveals a truer version of yourself. That's why some folks intentionally paint with their left hand or feet, hoping for cosmic authenticity. The results? Spiritually deep, but usually ugly. 76. There's an eerie superstition that if a church bell doesn't ring properly on Easter, someone in the congregation is hiding a sin. One town even had an unofficial bell whisperer who'd re-ring it just in case. Because nothing says forgiveness like passive-aggressive chimes. 77. In some families, it's believed that seeing a rainbow on Easter is a divine sign that your prayers were accepted. Sounds beautiful, until you remember it usually only happens after rain. Wet socks for cosmic affirmation? Worth it. 78. One myth says if you bake bread on Easter and it cracks while cooling, someone close to you is lying. That's right, even your sourdough has trust issues now. Some people even started bread readings, basically gossip with carbs. 79. There's a belief in parts of the South that if you see a snake on Easter, it's a message from beyond. People used to tell their kids it meant the dead were watching. Honestly, I'd be more worried about the snake than the ghost. 80. Some say if you forget to bless your Easter basket before eating from it, all the blessings inside get canceled. One Polish-American grandma once refused to serve anything until the priest arrived, and no one dared touch the kielbasa. 81. According to a folk belief, if an egg rolls off the table on Easter morning, it's a sign of a coming visitor. If it breaks, they'll bring bad news. Suddenly, clumsy kids become accidental prophets, and kitchen floors feel like crystal balls. 82. There's a strange myth that humming during egg dyeing invites creativity and fertility. So if you walked into a house and heard the whole family humming over bowls of vinegar and food coloring, you weren't hallucinating, just witnessing magic in progress. 83. In some Appalachian communities, if your cat stubbornly refuses to leave its favorite perch on Easter morning, it's seen as a forewarning of subtle misfortune lurking nearby. The feline's deliberate indifference was interpreted as a silent signal from the spirit world, prompting households to perform quiet rites or extra prayers to ward off potential calamities. So if your cat is extra aloof on Easter, you might want to pay extra attention to your day's omens. 84. In early Irish-American homes, it was said that if you heard your name whispered on Easter wind, it meant someone was praying for you or gossiping about you. Depends on the tone and who's doing the whispering. 85. There's a tale that if you make eye contact with a rabbit on Easter morning, your luck gets mirrored. If you're already lucky, it doubles. But if you're not, well, avoid bunnies, just in case. They know too much. 86. Some people plant flowers in the shape of a cross on Easter for protection. They believe the blooms absorb divine energy. But if one petal falls early, it means you've got spiritual leaks. Patch your soul, garden style. 87. A few families keep a single dyed egg from Easter and display it all year as a charm for unity. If it rots, it's a bad omen. But if it holds up, that's excellence in action, and also possibly toxic preservation. 88. There's an old belief that washing your feet in river water on Easter purifies your path for the year. It's a poetic ritual, unless the river is freezing. One guy slipped during the process and claimed the splash drove out double the sin. 89. There's a quirky belief in certain small-town traditions that if you get hiccups while unwrapping your Easter candy, each hiccup signals a forthcoming twist in your destiny. Folks would count their hiccups with a mix of amusement and anxiety, convinced that a series of persistent hiccups foretold either an unexpected windfall or a surprising challenge. So next time you're unwrapping sweets, be mindful of those hiccups. They might just be your personal fortune-telling. 90. In old Quaker circles, laughter was banned on Easter morning to maintain spiritual solemnity. Children were told joy should come after reflection. So yeah, giggling at your cousin's bunny costume was basically heresy. 91. There's a belief that if you yawn during Easter service, you'll be bored the rest of the year. Some churchgoers pop mints non-stop just to stay alert. One pastor even joked that yawning mid-sermon was an act of spiritual sabotage. 92. In some families, children who find the least eggs are said to have the purest heart. Nice consolation prize, unless you're competitive. Then it's just a polite way of saying, you lost, but God still likes you. 93. Some believe that if you can balance an egg on its end at exactly noon on Easter, you'll have perfect balance in life. Most people just end up with a cracked egg and a renewed respect for physics. Enlightenment via mess. 94. According to an old belief, if you eat an odd number of jelly beans on Easter, you'll face odd numbers in your life all year, like unexpected bills or bad dates. That's why some folks count every bean like it's financial strategy. 95. In certain circles, if a bee lands on your Easter flower arrangement, it means someone is thinking of you with love. If it stings you, maybe not so much. Some say the sting transfers the thought, but honestly, it just hurts like divine rejection. 96. Some say if a bird poops on your Easter outfit, it's good luck, which is the only reason someone didn't cry when their brand new pastel blazer got blessed during brunch. Apparently, the messier the bird, the bigger the blessing. 97. In a curious twist on old harvest rituals, some rural families believe that sprinkling salt on the doorsteps on Easter morning would keep evil spirits and misfortune at bay for the entire year. The salt, gathered from the sea and blessed in a midnight ritual, was thought to purify the threshold, turning a simple seasoning into a potent talisman against the unknown. So, if you find your door lined with salt, know it's more than just a pinch of flavor, it's a safeguard for the soul. 98. In some parts of the American Northeast, it's believed that if you hear your church bells toll out of rhythm on Easter morning, it signifies that a long-lost relative is sending a warning from beyond. The irregular chimes are thought to carry messages from the past, urging families to reconcile old disputes before the year's end. So next time you catch a slightly offbeat bell sequence, maybe listen closely. It could be more than just an acoustic anomaly. 99. In some towns, there's a local myth that if you hum "Here Comes Peter Cottontail" exactly at midnight, the Easter Bunny appears in your dreams. But if you mess up the lyrics, he skips your house. One kid practiced for days like it was a chocolate-fueled audition. 100. There's a belief that if your Easter ham splits while cooking, it means family drama is about to boil over. Some families serve turkey instead, just to avoid opening Pandora's pork box. Others glue the split shut with mustard and pretend it never happened. 101. And finally, some say if you make it through Easter without spilling, dropping, cracking, or complaining, you've achieved Easter enlightenment. But let's be honest, a little chaos is part of the tradition. Besides, what's more American than mixing religion, rabbits, and chocolate with absolute madness? So next time you bite into a hollow bunny or sneeze during an egg hunt, just remember, it might mean something, or nothing at all. Either way, now you'll never look at Easter the same way again.